And to clarify this, just along that same line, the state takes care of that, right? The state determines
It's in the century code.
the rate and.
That's correct.
It's not the local county that assesses.
That is correct. It is in century code. You can see it today.
Right.
And that's what all the wind projects, as of a certain date, are paying. Many states have moved to that type of standard.
Another question, I've asked this before, and I've read through all this stuff, but can you tell me in plain terms how far my house has to be from the tower so I will not be affected by blade shadow at any time?
Within the state standards?
No, just how far will my house have to be from your tower so it will not be affected by blade shadow?
There is, for shadow specifically you're asking, the answer is actually we run a computer model that literally models the path of the sun every hour of the year based on a turbine location to see where the shadow will be and to prevent there from being shadow. So it could be that there doesn't need to be any setback if the turbine is on the south side of your house. It could be that there needs to be a long setback if it's directly north of your house. Did I get that right?
No, just the opposite.
So you get the idea that it depends on where, the orientation of where a turbine is. But if a turbine is, if the sun is setting and a turbine is a half mile from your house and the turbine's on the horizon, the shadow may come to your house. That will be seen by the models we use and we're running now to make sure we don't have shadow issues. So that's something we can design for. It's not a hard number. It's running a model and moving turbines around to ensure there's no shadow.
So then no houses will be affected by blade shadow, no dwellings will be affected by dwellings or farmsteads, so on and so forth will be affected by blade shadow.
The standard that we are designing for is the state standard, which allows for a small amount of shadow during the year. A certain number of hours is the maximum.
30 hours.
30. Something, and I don't have that number off the top of my head, but Alan could probably answer that question later.
How about noise?
Noise is similar in that we are required by the state of North Dakota to model noise or sound as measured in the outdoors of a house, in the yard of a house, around the house, in all directions, and make sure it's below 45 decibels outside the house. So if a turbine, I can give you a general number that typically a quarter mile to a half mile, a quarter, 1,250 feet is typically the roughly safe where you know that you'll be at 45 decibels. But depending on the lay of the landscape, it might be unique for one house. So we actually run a model to make sure that we're achieving the 45 decibels in the yard of every single house within the project.
What do you mean run a model?
There is analysis using computer models that are designed to model with a computer program, represent the emissions from the turbines and acoustically study and analyze the amount of sound that will arrive at every single household. That's something we can do in-house, and there are also consultants. We're very careful about that, because if we violate those rules, we're in violation of our permit, which means we don't have a permit for that turbine that is making noise. So we have to be very thorough in our analysis of noise and conservative to make sure that we are not building anything that would exceed the 45. It's on us if that's not done right. And
If
in fact,
let's say that's not done right, and it's at
Yes.
50 or 55, the turbine's up, what happens?
or we don't know, a landowner says, I think that thing is too loud. There is a process with the a letter to the state of North Dakota requires that we respond. There is monitoring that occurs then in their yard. And if we exceed the standards, we are on the hook to fix it.
And fixing that is, what's the process of that?
It's not defined, but we're the offender, so we have to figure out a solution, which I've never been in that situation. We do the modeling very carefully so we don't get there. I don't believe we've ever had
It is
in the Burley Code. Yeah.
and it's-
So there,
and
right, but it's on us to make it good for the community. That's not a mistake by the homeowner. That would have been a mistake by the design of the project.
How long will it take to remedy that if the tower's already erected?
I would not doubt that it's in the Burley Code to give a certain time frame if they go to that level of detail, but the state probably has a timeline. Perhaps we can respond to that. We have experts here too.
that was one of my main comments that I had when I reviewed the Berkeley code, was that, I thought that was pretty weak. Basically, it says if it is more than 30 hours, it says the remedy would be,
Trees or barriers?
yeah, vegetation, awnings, provide light blocking shades. Basically, to me, it's like, close your blinds and don't go outside. That's if they exceed it. And I think that's pretty weak. And I think I saw somewhere else that said the turbine would be removed. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
so that's one of my comments for
Yeah.
us, not for you, you know what I mean, but
Right.
for our code.
Well, I've never
I
been-
really think that's weak.
Okay.
On us, not on you. I'm saying
Yeah, that's
on
something
our
to
Berkeley
reflect.
code.
In my view, we have to be very cautious about noise. We do not want to violate
Well, I'm not
that.
talking about noise, I'm
And I've
talking
never-
about the shadow. I'm sorry, I'm not.
Oh, on shadow. Both are kind of similar because we model them and we submit those modeling results with our permit application. So we're not just modeling in-house and saying it's good. We provide all of our work to document and demonstrate that here's how we did it. And if there's a mistake, we invite folks to set it straight. We don't want to build anything that's causing problems. We're committed to making this right.
Okay, anything else?
Yeah, I had a question on decommissioning. I guess on this is information you gave to us.
It could be, is this the, may I see it? I didn't personally, I don't know if it's a century code.
Okay, the question I have on decommissioning, this booklet you gave to us, there's a section in there on decommissioning, and you say the current cost is between $2 and $3 million per ton.
That would have been information, we just pulled together the information. We're not representing that, we're providing the, public information on it. It could be, I've seen decommissioning costs.
So why
In a
did you
range.
give this to us then if we aren't supposed to believe you?
Oh, you can, it's reasonable, I'm just sharing that decommissioning costs, when you net out the recycle value, the number moves around a great deal.
Okay, then in the back here, it talks about, the net worth of $10 million for the company, and they will be permitted to build in North Dakota in order to secure bonds and so on. And then it continues on with this section. The total amount of an outstanding guarantee for decommissioning may not exceed 25% of the owner's tangible net worth in the United States. So my understanding of this, if the company does not have that money to decommission when the time comes, the burden of decommissioning then will fall on the taxpayer.
I I apologize, I don't know where that document, I know it has our logo on the front, but I don't know who sent it. I don't know if that's, is that century code or? I think another way to read what you just stated is that the bond may not be accepted by the state if it is from an entity that it's too big of a hit for that company. A lot of times when there's bonding requirements, there are standards for the creditworthiness of the financial institution or company that's placing the bond. So it may be that the definition you mentioned relates to that, and I apologize, I don't know the document.
But the state requires that up front, correct?
Yes.
That bond.
Before.
For
yeah.
decommissioning.
Right. Yeah, the bond would be at construction of the project. Right.
All right. Okay.
This is a great area that decommissioning planning, roads, these are good areas for conversation and making the project better, particularly the road use agreement. So, not to open up another subject. But,
all right. Okay, thank you. We really need to move on.
I have a question, Stan, if I may. Just a simple question.
Go ahead.
Many of you know that we, right now, we're going through a big, beautiful omnibus bill. And in that bill, there's still provisions for the Green New Deal tax credits and so forth. What are the implications of this project if those tax credits are voted out either now or in the future? And how does it affect this project either now or in the future?
I guess that's for me. The current drafts for the adjustments in the tax bill are in some ways similar to what we've seen over the past couple decades. The initiation of the industry's tax policy began in '92 under George Bush Sr. and it has ended and it has started on and off during the time in terms of eligibility to build a project. But what has never changed and doesn't change under this bill is that when a project is built, it is then granted, it is safe harbor and it can operate for its life and there's no impact on the project after it is built.
So what you're saying is that since it hasn't started, if something happened now, what would it mean to this project? If they took out the tax credits?
If they did what they proposed in Congress, we would still build the project and it would operate
without the tax credits? Because there's all kinds of things being proposed. There's nothing been voted on.
The Congress is proposing to shorten the eligibility window.
I mean, that was one, but there's also talk of eliminating it completely, as you're probably well aware of.
Sure. It is, I guess I would say, anything's possible. We could eliminate all tax credits for all industry, but
My question is, what would it do to this project? I mean, would it kill it if they did that?
any project that you take out the tax policy that that is involved, in it, it's going to have an impact. Sure.
30 days ago, funding for this windmill project got cut. Kevin Kramer was on the news 30 days ago. There's no funding for those windmills. They got cut.
Not sure what you're referring to, but
Yeah, well,
okay.
just tell
Okay,
me what I
all
read.
right. Steve?
It's quite a room.
Yeah, it is.
So my name is Steve Sprague, and we, within the last few years, we purchased a home up in Branham Township. And I asked Jana to put me on the agenda just because I have to go back to Fargo tonight, and I wanted to be able to say a couple words to you before I have to leave. First of all, I want to thank Jana for all she's done. I've badged her with requests for information, and she's been very quick at responding. Secondly, I want to thank the commissioners for the work you guys are doing. I'm sure when you